Call the regular meeting of the zoning board to order. Here tonight are 5 regular members. Ben Philbrook, Gardner Young, myself, David Russell, Fred Dykeman, Lynn Conway, and our alternates, Ryan Deasy, Chuck Sheehan, and Gary Bilsey. Minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of August 4th.
Yeah, if we can all just
Motion to.
speak in the mics.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
They look good to me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
You opposed?
Abstain.
Lynn's abstained. Okay. Lynn's abstained. Staff?
Sure, the first item here is under Commission Reports, item 5B. Consideration of a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen that a town meeting be held to gather resident input on the issue of allowing adult-use cannabis establishments as per Connecticut Public Act 21-1. As we talked about at the last meeting, the state law has changed about legalizing recreational cannabis. So towns have to decide whether to allow them, regulate them, or prohibit them in town. At the last meeting, it seemed like the consensus of the commission was to recommend that the Board of Selectmen hold a public hearing or a town meeting or some sort of public meeting or referendum to get the public's issue on this. So as per the first selectman's request, this is on the agenda here. The idea being that the town selectmen would schedule a town meeting to possibly schedule a referendum. And I
It
believe,
takes it out of our hands.
yeah, it gets a wider
So
range of voices here
If it
rather
is
than.
approved, then we'll have to come back to commission, decide where it can be.
Right, right.
So,
And I know Selectman Strunk is here also.
any questions on this? Everyone in favor?
Aye.
What?
Aye.
Aye? Aye.
Yes.
Administrative review?
Administrative review item 5D1, 21-210 ZON DDH Hotel Mystic LLC S. Loyakis. A zoning permit application for a food truck festival with 20 trucks at the Mystic Hilton on Saturday, August 21st, 2021, with the rain date of the next day. Property located at 20 Coogan Boulevard, Mystic. Assessors map 164, block 4, lot 1A, zone TC 80. Well, first of all, is there anyone here to represent the applicant on this? Okay. So maybe we should, just hear their summary of it.
Hello, gentlemen, please.
Can you speak in the mic, please?
I said, hi, how are you, gentlemen and ladies?
Good, thanks.
Wait a minute, we're recording this, that's why we have to.
Thank you.
I have a question to ask Keith to start with. Do we need a zoning permit on this?
Well, we usually don't. It's on our agenda, but for single special events, we often don't have a zoning permit. The commission did approve a zoning permit for a food truck rally from Mystic Aquarium about 6 years ago. This was reviewed and approved by the police commission last week, who didn't have any issues with it.
This one has been.
This one, yeah. They usually are the group that reviews special events, because they have more expertise in public safety and, the sort of requirements.
It's all gonna be in the Hilton parking lot?
Yes, sir. Yes, in the back part of the parking lot,
Okay. And the hours are
from 12 to 7.
12 to 7? So all during daylight?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, yes, we do that specifically so that we can get everything cleaned up prior to sunset.
Is this a one-shot deal? It won't be once a month or?
We'll be coming back, I mean, if all goes well, but yeah,
Won't,
for this location, it's.
won't be once a month, but maybe annually.
Ah,
However, we do have them on a once a month or once even bi-weekly basis in different towns throughout Connecticut.
oh, this is like a group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New
Thing.
England Food Truck Fest.
And it's just food trucks, it's not music or anything like that?
Yeah, we have a live band.
Ah.
Yep. They have a live band there every Friday night, I think.
But this would be an outdoor live band?
Yeah, they have an outdoor one every Friday on their band night.
Yeah, they have band night in the courtyard in the back typically,
Oh,
Oh, of the
but
Hilton?
this
Of
week.
the Hilton, but, yeah, I got it.
It's just
Thank
classic 80s rock and roll.
How's the parking segregated? How do you segregate the hotel parking
There is, do you have the zoning, the site plan or no?
from? I do have a second.
Okay, there are two entrances. The left entrance on Coogan Boulevard will be used for the hotel parking lot, and that area in the front will be hotel guests.
Okay.
The other entrance on the right-hand side, that right-hand side parking lot will be used for Food Truck Fest.
So you've done this before. Has that parking lot been adequate?
Not there. This is the first time having one there.
Do you have any way of knowing what kind of draw you're gonna get? I mean, I'm sure you're hoping.
It looks like a few hundred people so far.
But most of the hotel guests are
sorry?
not there, most of the hotel guests are not there during the daytime.
No, they're not. I mean, but we don't want, at the same time, we don't want to take up their spaces with people attending the Food Truck Fest for when they return.
How about traffic? So that's a pretty, on like a weekend during the day because of the retail in the back and whatnot. It's pretty heavy traffic right that area.
I think
So
the
is there any
entrance is
issue?
in Coogan Boulevard, not from,
Not going up at the
McQuaid?
not going, it's coming in from Coogan Boulevard.
There are actually two. One is on Coogan Boulevard, and the other one, as you
On
enter that
Clara
road that
Drive.
goes up to McQuaid's,
Yeah,
it's right there as soon as you get there. It's
Yeah.
right on the left.
And then you have the other one coming across from the seaport, right?
Right. And we'll be utilizing both of them as an exit. So,
There's a signal right there, so the signal does create gaps in traffic.
Yeah. And I also know they have a crossing guard usually for the Mystic Seaport over the week, or not Seaport, pardon me, for the aquarium over the weekends. Did you talk to them about if people park over there?
we're actually going to have staff there as well, also. So,
In addition to there being a button on there in the event that nobody is there for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah, my only concern, and personally, I think it's worth a try, but I think if the traffic does become an issue going past that one entrance to the Hilton, as you go up to McQuaid's and whatnot, it might be something you want to monitor. Yeah.
Question, how long have you been planning this event?
A couple of months.
this one's actually, actually
Why, what happens if 4 days before the event we decide we don't want you to have it?
Well, this was sprung on us. I mean, we got a notification just the other day. I mean, and nobody notified us prior to this. So we've been scrambling. We've visited the town hall and the fire station at Old Mystic, and we've spoken to them. So we're just trying to get it all done.
To follow up on Lynn's question, how are you going to prevent people from ending up at Quay? Or
Well-
West Marine, I mean, what are you going to do about directing people off of
you mean signage?
Ocean Boulevard
Well, most of the advertising that we've done as we've gone along is to make a day of it for the patrons of the Old Mystic Village shops as well as the aquarium to come out and make a day of it. come to the food truck festival, go across the street to the village shops and the aquarium. And that's most likely where most of the people will be coming from, which is why we're having a cross guard there at that crosswalk.
Any other questions?
No?
Thank you. Let's see, we don't have any say, do we?
Do you have to vote?
Yeah, they did apply for a zoning permit, so
Well, they did.
Take a vote. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Next time, a little more notice.
Right.
Now, this protocol,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And yeah, you're all welcome to come on out too. It's gonna be a good time.
Okay,
Public hearing?
public hearing.
Notice of public hearing pursuant to the general statutes of the state of Connecticut revision of 1958 and all amendments thereto, and pursuant to the zoning regulations for the town of Stonington, Connecticut, the Planning and Zoning Commission hereby gives notice that it will hold a public hearing at the Stonington Board of Education District Office, 40 Field Street, Pawcatuck, Connecticut, on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, at 7 p.m. on the following applications. First off, PZ 2118 SUP, Latazori Development LLC, Refined Med Spa LLC, a special use permit application to permit a medical spa aesthetic medicine office in 1,020 square feet of existing structure. Property located at 80 Stonington Road, Mystic, Assessors Map 153, Block 3, Lot 1, Zone GC 60.
Seated tonight's public hearing are 5 regular members. The way the public hearing will work, we'll hear from the applicant first, and all those who speak in favor of the application. Then we'll hear from anyone opposed to the application, and any general comments on the application. And after that, we'll have a right to, the applicant will have a right to rebuttal, and then we'll have the staff comments. So, who is here from the spa?
Hello, my name is Kayla Santamore. I am going to hopefully be the owner of Refined Med Spa. You need this to go down?
Yeah.
Okay.
she's short.
This is one of my handymen, Mark. Unfortunately, the co-owner, Mario Castro, who is a police officer, was called into duty and is unable to be here tonight.
So tell us what you want to do, please.
Okay, so I am looking to open a medical spa at the facility listed at 80 Stonington Road. This is a facility where I hope to bring increased confidence, but as well as a relaxing place to people. I am a nurse practitioner in primary care. I'm currently a primary care provider in Norwich, Connecticut. I also teach nursing school in Rhode Island and clinicals. Hence my attire. I'm sorry, I came directly from there. I have a background in ICU nursing and ER nursing, and I truly love healthcare in general. So I'm looking to just broaden the scope, and this is a field I never in a million years thought I would be into because I really like treating the very sick people. But with the way things are going and insurance and lots of things, I'm looking into a new avenue. So I have become trained in aesthetic medicine and have some very good colleagues that are going to help me in this venture. So we are simply looking to do things such as medical grade skincare, facials, Botox, potentially fillers, and laser type treatments. Nothing super invasive, it's mainly non-invasive procedures. I will be the medical director as I have independent practicing authority in the state of Connecticut. I've been a nurse practitioner for 4 years. And that is pretty much it.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
Yes.
So, what type of signage are you thinking about?
Signage for the spot itself? So just a small sign that will be located where the old sign was. I believe it was Coldwell Bankers, maybe prior. I'm not positive of what it was. But as the plaza sits, each facility there has like a small sign under 2 lights. So our space has like an overhead light outside, and we're just going to put a small sign there. I'm not positive that there's a sign directly into the plaza with a name, but if anything, it would just be a small in collaboration with whatever everyone else is doing there.
Thank you.
Any other questions at this time?
Well, I think, are there any bathrooms? I don't see where.
So there's actually a
The one
common
drawing.
area bathroom that is only for the people who rent the space, I'm told, by the landlord. And per the guidelines, because these procedures are going to be very short and there's only going to be 4 medical rooms, so this building will have to be altered slightly inside of our 1,000 square foot space with 4 rooms. So we won't have more than maybe 4 patients there at a time, in which there maybe be there 15, 20 minutes. So in the event that they truly need a bathroom, they'll be able to use the common area we've confirmed, but it won't be likely that they'll need bathrooms while they're there.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You're gonna be dealing with one of front and my 4.
Fred, is your mic on? Fred?
My 4 offices, if you're dealing with one at a time.
So the space is basically a rectangle, as you probably see on the layout. So we are going to have 4 treatment rooms. Because of the nature of the different treatments, it'll be best to set it up as such. Just like a doctor's office, you would have multiple rooms. There will be myself as a provider and probably 1 nurse and 1 esthetician in there. So there potentially could be 3 people there at one time.
I assume someone regulates this business. Who would it be?
So that is basically regulated through the Department of Public Health, which deals with obviously the licensing and, you know, being up to code with the CDC standards and HIPAA and OSHA regulations and things like that. And that comes more so down to the credentialing and licensing and the medical abilities that I have, that it will fall under me and a malpractice policy and such.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
John?
Just a question for Keith. Is there enough information in the application regarding the sign that if it was approved, they don't have to come back again for the sign? I'm just trying to think of anticipating this to be approved. Is there a way that we could help them out with the sign, with the stipulation, that it be the same size as the existing sign, or something along those lines, for them to have, they don't have to come back, just
Right, and the sign can just be approved by us in-house. And this development did have along with it a multi-tenant signage program when it was built that showed where all the signs are, how big they're supposed to be, and that makes it easy to just figure out what's approvable there and what can be replaced.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
If you look, it's the signboard is in the second picture in there.
Thank you.
All set?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favor? Is anyone opposed? Any general comments? Keith?
Yeah, zoning wise, it's very straightforward. I mean, we consider it a medical office because it does have this medical component, so it needs a special use permit in the GC 60 zone. But, there's no zoning issues with it. It complies with the regulations. There's a lot more parking on site than zoning even requires. There's a large parking lot in back too, which you don't really see from the street. It's one of the few things that's not subject to the WPCA's moratorium in Mystic, so they won't be held up by that. And there's not even any recommended stipulations for it. Just a vote as to the waivers requested and the special use permit.
Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Do I hear a motion on this application?
Motion to approve the application.
Do I hear a
Second.
second?
Second.
Any discussion?
That includes the waivers.
Yes.
and the SUP. And do we
Any
crack,
discussion?
and the signage, I mean, is that gonna be handled internally?
Yeah, it's not really needed.
Yep, no other discussion?
Any further discussion?
Not for me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, have it, ayes. Application approved. You gonna,
I am. Does that mean I don't get to ask questions?
that's right.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, gotta do it.
Next two applications, you can go home.
Number 2?
Number two.
Number 2.
The next two applications, Fred is gonna recuse himself because he's friends with the applicant. So to be seated on these two public hearings will be, who's up? Gary.
Gary.
Okay,
Proceed. The second application, PZ 2119 SUP, McDuff Associates, Mystic Royal Restaurant. Special use permit application for change of use from retail restaurant to restaurant with 45 seats, on-premise liquor permit, and shared parking. Property located at 35 Williams Ave, Suite E, Mystic, Assessors Map 161, Block 14, Lot 2, Zone LS5.
will the applicant come forward?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm Shuli Solomon, owner of Mystic Royal. So I applied for the liquor permit and 45 seats. Right now I have only 8 seat permits. So which is not, like I cannot make my rent either with 8 seats. So if this 45 seat, it will be really good for me. And liquor permit as well, it's need in Mystic. So. And I get today email from the police department. They said they want to, clearance or like they want to see the more clear parking idea. So I have, you can see in my file, side layout A. You can see a lot of parking we have. And the dinner time, most of store is closed there. Only Mystic Royal is open and Taste of India restaurant is open. But Taste of India, they are take-out business. So I'm only one person for the parking I need and for the city.
Well, did the police commission suggest you have a signage for
Yes.
out back, right?
Yes, we
Yeah.
will make the sign, additional parking. It's going this way, so we will do that.
Can you access that from Avery Street, or is it just from Route 1?
Just from, what I'm gonna say,
Williams,
next to the Taste of India.
That's the only,
Yes,
that's what I
yeah,
thought.
just only one
way.
access.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
And what are your hours?
Ours is 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday is 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
I'm just a little confused.
Yes, ma'am.
So, this is for the plaza that has the Taste of India, the dog grooming, the hairdresser, you go around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And your space is going to be where in there?
Before the saltwater cabinet, the box store, just before that. Like you can say, if you think about the corner, I'm the second one.
Okay.
There used to be
Away from Route 27. So on
Yes.
Avery Street.
Yes.
What's Route 1?
Route
But
one,
it's,
sorry.
but it's where the organic store used to
Yeah,
be,
okay.
right?
And you're
Thanks,
thinking
Yes.
45 seats in there?
Yes, ma'am. I want outdoor and indoor 45 seat. Not only indoor, ma'am. It's indoor plus outdoor.
Total.
Right.
Yes.
Total is 45.
Total is 45, yes.
45 seats.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
How many indoor? Again?
Indoor is 31. 31 seats going to indoor.
And you're saying you need how many parking spots for?
Employees, 4.
Well, we've had this discussion in the past about employees and the number of seating. And it does vary depending upon the type of restaurant it is, but I don't believe 4, according to the research that Chuck did, is standard for a 45 seat restaurant. I think it's closer to 10, 8 to 10. So I think you miscalculated that a little bit.
It's a hard,
Restaurant, this again, I'm sorry.
it's an international fusion cuisine.
Okay, so is it considered like fine dining?
I don't know. What
Sorry?
I've been in the restaurant, no one told us not. Fine
So it
dining.
would probably be, the requirement would probably be lower.
Less.
Right,
than
right.
10, but
How many employees do you have?
Right now we are 2.
Now you have 2 employees.
2, just me and my husband, that's it.
But how many seats do you have?
Right now 8.
Right. So we're
Well,
going
one of you
from-
have to cook and one of you have to serve. So you basically, but you only expect 2 more employees.
Yeah, that's why I said 4 total.
Yeah, I can see that.
would that include wait staff and kitchen staff,
Everything together.
management, and
Yeah, it's 4 is fine. 4 is fine.
thank you?
No problem.
Any other questions at this time?
Yeah. So, and your restaurant you're proposing that your restaurant is opened when?
Sorry?
The hours of your restaurant?
Ours is 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Most of the store that time already closed. You know, they close 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So I am only one person who is open until 9. Taste of India is a takeout restaurant. If you see in, the side layout, you can see Taste of India takeout restaurant.
Yep. I saw that.
Any other
And
questions?
what's your plan for lighting for the outside?
Outside, just solar light, that's it. We don't need that much lighting there.
You have outside seating now.
8. Yes, we have 8.
Yeah.
So whatever we get, the permit, so we everything keep outside. We didn't keep anything inside.
Any other questions at this time?
I have one. So when we sign the lease, do you expect to pay people, pay customers at one time?
No. We thought, okay, it's a COVID time. We open it. If situation going good, if I'm busy, then I'm gonna apply for the more seats. Now it's my customer is really good. They like my food in Mystic, and our lot of customers, they come from another state as well. So when they come, they're like 10, 15 people. Like today when 20 people, they came from the New Year. They try to eat our food. We refuse because we don't have seat. We have only 8 seats. They were so disappointed. No bar. Just beer and wine.
Any other questions? Thank you this time.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak in favor of this application?
Sorry?
I'm asking if anyone else wants to speak
Oh, thank
in
you.
favor of this application.
And there are sign-up sheets at the back table if anybody wants to speak on any of the public hearings.
Is anyone opposed to this application? Are there any any opposed?
No, general
General comments?
General comment, Paul Sarter, 12 Jackson Avenue in Mystic. I can't say I couldn't be opposed because I don't feel I know enough about it. I didn't really study it, but when I saw your agenda, I saw these two restaurants, and they're back to back. I live at 12 Jackson Avenue downtown. I served on the joint task force, Groton and Mystic, for the parking commission and the parking study. And I'm just concerned. I don't know if anybody from that neighborhood is here. My main theme when I come to planning and zoning seems to be now is, in my mind, is I just hope that you folks, I plead that you do everything you can, and I know it sounds maybe stupid, but that you really stick to the regulations and don't give. And I know by the regulations sometimes you can't, so this is maybe it's a moot statement that I may make, but it seems like you do have some latitude depending on the regulations to give 10%, not give 10%, extra parking, that type of thing. And when I see these back-to-back permits, I'm assuming the restaurant's going to be successful, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to go there because their food is great, and they say their hours are till 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock on Sundays, but the state law says they can be open longer, and nothing stops really Taste of India for being open longer. All I'm saying is I hope you'll look at what the maximum, what it could be, and not necessarily what it's presented as, and that you'll keep an eye on it. I know you've been very sensitive, and I appreciate it, to the neighborhoods more now as to how this overflow parking is going to happen, and it will flow into the neighborhood. I don't live there. I'm just pleading that you guys do everything you can to stick to the letter and hold applicants accountable. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other general comments? Keith?
Sure. So when the Mystic Royal was approved, they were approved as a retail restaurant, which doesn't need a special use permit. It's permitted similar to retail. They're allowed 8 seats or less there. So now they're looking to become a restaurant, which needs a special use permit. So technically the special use permit's for 3 things. It's the added seats to become considered a restaurant, the liquor permit, and the shared parking relief. So if the shared parking is warranted per the commission, and if that's given, then the application would conform to the requirements of the LS5 district here. Now most of this seems to be about parking. So right now as it stands, the whole shopping center technically has 39 spaces and needs 39 spaces per zoning. All of the outdoor seating that's there temporarily because of COVID takes up 3 of those spaces. So there's really 36 spaces, which per the COVID orders is okay for now. So the shared parking regulations gives the commission the ability to reduce the total amount of parking required for all the businesses there under the assumption that they share customers or that they have different hours of operation. So what the regulations say is that in calculating required parking, the commission can allow shared parking in cases where it's demonstrated that individual uses occupying the same property will have peak parking demands at different hours of the day or are expected to share many of the same customers. The regulations don't have a maximum percentage that you can or can't allow. It's basically up to your discretion to allow flexibility where you think it's warranted. As the applicant stated, Taste of India closes by 5. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I have that backwards. They're only open for dinner. They don't open until 4. all the other businesses close by 5 or 5:30. Taste of India is approved for more seats. They could go up to 50 seats there. But I guess they're just takeout now. They were originally approved as a barbecue restaurant back in 1995. There's also 4 on-street parking spaces on Avery Street in front of the bank. And, you know, those can't officially count as their parking spaces, but they're just overflow. You know, and there's that lot behind the building that's a bit concealed from view there. With utilities, this is subject to the WPCA's moratorium in Mystic, and they've stated that no increase in seats will be allowed at all at the restaurant until the moratorium's lifted, and we're not sure when that'll be. So if the commission approves this, the extra seats can't actually be implemented for a while until the moratorium goes away. If this were to be approved here, we have some recommended stipulations. Number 1 is standard language about the moratorium applying. Number 2 is that the town's maximum seating notice must be posted in a conspicuous location inside the restaurant. Number 3, that 1 or more directional signs of 4 square feet or less in area reading additional parking behind buildings shall be installed on the applicant's property. And the votes would be the waivers requested and the special use permit application.
Thank you. Any commission members have any questions at this time? Do I have a motion to close the public?
Oh, and we didn't do rebuttal.
Oh, what is that?
I have some questions. So, it's 14, they're requesting, currently have 8 outdoor seats. In the application, I think they're indicating up to 14 outdoor seats. You said that the 8 take up 3 of the current spaces. So if it was 14, would you assume that it would take an additional 2 or 3 spaces away?
Their plan doesn't show that.
Uh-huh.
It shows them all fitting in those spaces. We can, have them verify that here.
Okay, and Keith, you knew about the Taste of India and the 50 seats, up to 50 seats. For the other establishments there, do you have any idea what the parking allocations were for them?
Yeah, in the staff report, there's a breakdown of what each business needs per zoning.
Mm-hmm.
Taste of India needs the most. They need 15.
Mm-hmm.
The other businesses there need between 3 and 6 each, depending on how big they are and what type of business they are.
Okay, so let's say 4 each, just to be fair. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Where's the bathroom here?
I am not sure. Actually, I think I saw in some old floor plan that there was a bathroom. It might be the case as with the last application where it's sort of a shared common area.
Bathroom is on the right-hand side of the restaurant. It is attached to the restaurant. It is dedicated. I'm The restaurant, I'm Jeff Wiley, I'm the property manager at McDuff. The property has this restaurant has its own integral bathroom that is dedicated specifically to Mystic Royal. It's down the corridor behind the office to the right of where the seating area is. And it's a full bathroom without shower.
And it's handicap accessible?
Yes.
Oh, and I forgot to mention too that submitted for the record was a letter in favor from co-owner Christopher Stewart.
I have one last question for the applicant.
No, go ahead.
Excuse me. Have you talked to the other tenants about parking? in the building?
No, I didn't talk with them, but I see them, their operation hours.
Right,
Next to my restaurant is a saltwater box. They're never open. They just come to drop off and pick up their stuff. That's it.
right. I've never seen anybody there either.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. And salon, they just have it only. They take only for appointment, like appointment ones. So if they have appointment, they are open,
Mhm.
and otherwise they are not open.
Mhm.
But after 5 o'clock, nobody is there.
Right.
So only one I am there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion on this application?
Make a motion to approve this application with the shared parking, the liquor license, well, I mean, as presented, excuse me.
Do I hear a
With
second?
the stipulations.
With key stipulations, I'm sorry.
So as presented with stipulations. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I will second that.
Sorry.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so I just don't think the math works here. So, first off, Kevin and company and the observations that were made are being made during a COVID state, right? So, you know, opening for appointment only is, I think, very common during this time. But I personally, because, you know, I've seen it, it's not, that place is open more often than just when they have appointments. But if you go with what Keith said, okay, you start out with 36, considering no increase in the number of outdoor seats, which is currently 8. They're requiring 14. So let's just say that takes up, you know, 3 more spaces. Okay, we don't have a site plan. I'm just saying 3 more spaces. So now you're down to 33 spaces. Keith indicates that the Taste of India has 15 spaces. Let's subtract that out. Okay, so now you're down to 18 spaces. You've got 4 other establishments already there, each one requiring anywhere between 3 to 6. I picked the number 4 kind of in the middle, okay? So you've got Kevin Company, Fisher's, Salt Box, and something Hound, okay? So that's 4, 4 other spaces are establishments, 4 spaces for each one, that's 16. You only got 18 left. So you have 2 additional spaces to work with. Now, you're correct, when you look at these hours of operation, right? A lot of them are open in the morning, and you're proposing to be open at 11 to 9. But there's a major overlap with each one of these other people or businesses. So you've got a 6-hour overlap, you've got a 6.5-hour overlap. With Taste of India, you have a complete overlap. So you cannot justify the shared parking, and without the shared parking, you cannot justify the increase in the seats. And I think Avery, that road, right, there's no sidewalks, it's a small side road, it's a residential road. I just don't think that the neighborhood can withstand that. So I think there's no way you can justify this shared parking, and with that, the increased number of seats that are being requested. When you look at the math, it's pretty black and white.
Any other?
So yeah, the total parking that would be required normally with all these seats is 49 spaces,
Right.
and there's 36 spaces provided. So that's the level of relief they're asking for. The total amount of parking for the whole shopping center would increase by 25%.
Some of the places never open.
But David, those clients can change their hours. The business can change without coming back to us. You can't kind of say that's the way it's going to be forever. And what's currently there doesn't work. I mean, the math doesn't work.
What number would you be comfortable with?
I'm at a meeting.
So again, I'm just going to go through this. I don't see how you can even increase it at all. You've got how many seats total, Keith? 36, I believe you said.
How many seats or spaces?
How many spaces?
36.
36. That's with the 8. You've taken out the spaces that the current outdoor seating of 8 take up, right? So it's 36 available, including the 8, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The applicant is requesting 14 additional outdoor seats. So that's 6 additional outdoor seats, right? So you got to take, 3 spaces for those 6, just based on the ratio of 8 spaces taking away 3, okay? So that brings you down, as I said, to 33 of available seats. You said that the Taste of India has 15, or I say seats, I'm sorry, spaces, excuse me. The Taste of India has 15 allocated to them. You said that? All right. Okay, so 33 minus the 15 comes down to 18. Now you've got 18 available spaces. Then you have 4 additional businesses that are in that plaza. And I believe you said that those businesses require anywhere between 3 to 6 spaces. And so I just picked the number 4, right? Somewhere between 3 and 6, I picked 4. You've got 4 additional businesses. 4 times 4 is 16. You take the 16, you subtract it from the 18, you come up with 2 spaces. Then, so you could say, well, maybe that would work because of the overlap. But what I'm saying is, when you looked at the hours of those 5 businesses that are currently in the plaza, the overlap is more than 50%. For 4 of the 5, it's more like 75%. And for one of them, it's a complete overlap. And that complete overlap is for the Taste of India, which is 15 spaces. So the math does not work for this. It just doesn't work.
How does this sound? 25 indoor seats and 10 outdoor seats. And that is reducing it by 10.
No, that does not work.
Just 35 seats rather than 45 seats?
Doesn't work. The math doesn't work still. The math still doesn't work.
Well, to be clear, they are asking for relief from the math not working under the shared parking
Well,
requirements.
that would bring down the shared parking percentage, correct?
Right, right.
It would.
That's
So
what I'm
do the
saying.
math.
That's
Do the
what
math, David.
I'm saying is, if it would bring it down. I would be comfortable with that.
How did you come up with that number? What is the math behind it? I mean, I
Logic.
wrote this down. No, I'd like you to present how you came up with that number.
Because it would reduce the number we're off by the maximum number of.
Okay, what is the number? Can you black and white the
I'm
number
not
for me?
quick on math. What you're saying is, if 45, how many seats in parking spaces we need?
13 is the difference, right?
How many parking spaces does,
Total, well, you were saying it was 49, correct?
yeah, with the parking they asked for, the whole shopping center would need 49
Yeah,
spaces.
but by reducing this by 10, we're off, even though we only have 49 spaces, the percentage of relief is not as high.
Right, right. Yeah, and the idea behind this is that, yeah, the math doesn't have to work with shared parking.
No.
That's what they're asking for,
But the
is
relief
to have more than is normally allowed. And it's just up to the commission's discretion.
I'm just saying,
How much
maybe
extra?
I thought maybe it's 10 spaces, 10 seats too many for relief. This reduces it some. That's all.
So I think, David, I think you need to, for the commission to understand that, they need to go through, what the math is, and what is the percentage of relief. I mean, we're allowed to give relief. Is it relief for
That's what I'm saying.
two parking spaces? I've just said that it's gonna be way more than that. So unless you know that number, I think it's hard to pull out of the air 10. Like, come up with a number and show what is the relief that we're actually granting.
I think that they need indoor seating for winter months. They can't have, as they said, they can't have 8 seats inside. For them to be successful, we'd always try to have everyone be successful. We should come to a compromise on this. That's all.
I think too, those hours of overlap, most of those existing businesses, the restaurant, I'm assuming, is busy as they can. While they're by themselves, when most of these guys are closed. So those 4 or 5 hours where there's overlap for all, and I don't think Mr. Roy will have that apartment. That's specific.
But what do you do when somebody else, when the space changes hands? Yeah. Yeah.
The overlap hours, I think they're that great, because they're all closed by the time the restaurant gets busy.
Well, then why is the restaurant open at 11 o'clock if they're not going to be busy from 11 to 5:30 and they close at 9? That doesn't make sense. So,
It's not as busy, but somebody don't.
yeah. So I'm just saying, I think it's in a tough area for street parking. I think that you're going to have street parking, and I think for the commission to justify an overlap, you have to understand what that overlap is from a percentage perspective of what's required for the zone, for the space. And I'm not hearing anybody come up with that.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Is it okay for an alternate to speak at this time? It is,
We have a motion on the floor. Any more discussion on this motion?
I think the shared parking could work. I rarely see this.
You think it will work?
I do. I go by this establishment very, very frequently. The establishment meaning the entire building. And in my opinion, it's quite underutilized in general.
Gardner?
I mean, a lot of this stuff, one of the places is never open to the public, so they have to use a lot of parking.
The fish market's never open.
No, it's the salt box, remember, it's never open to the public. And another one, the dog groomer. Sorry. The dog groomer, that's drop and go.
Yeah.
You don't sit there in the parking lot where your dog's being groomed. You drop the dog off, you come back 3 or 4 hours later and pick the dog up. So that's, I can't be too. I think, like Ben, that property is not terribly overused from what I can see, so I can't get too excited about it. And I say, it's 2.7 for the for the pet groomer. You don't need 2.7 for a pet groomer. You take the dog in. I'll see you in 3 hours. Goodbye, and you go out. I mean,
They have 2 employees there. They have employees, and then they have multiple pets at the same time. So, I mean, again, I'm just asking the commission to justify the number so that there's some logic in this rather than a gut feeling of, hey, I go buy it and it doesn't look busy to me when I go buy it. It's just, where is the black and white information? I just went through and I explained it for the hours, the percentage overlap. I explained it for the number of businesses that are currently there. I explained it based on the number of required parking for those businesses. I explained it on the increased number of parking spaces that are being requested to be eliminated for outdoor seating. I've explained it based on somebody saying that they don't see a lot of people there because it's only open by appointment when it's COVID. I'm just not sure where other than, okay, it doesn't look busy and we want this business to succeed, I'm gonna draw out the number 10. Okay. I mean, where's the information?
All right, we'll call the motion. We can go on and on. All those in favor of this motion? Ben?
Aye.
Gardner?
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Lynn?
Nay.
Aye. Application approved. Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3, B, no, 3.
PZ 2120 SUP, McDuff Associates, Ignazio's Mystic LLC, special use permit application for a restaurant with 64 seats and on-premise liquor permit, property located at 42 Williams Ave, Mystic, Assessors Map 161, Block 17, Lot 1, Zone LS5.
Citizens application will be my, Ben Filbert, Gardner Young, myself, David Rathman, Lynn Conway, and Gary Belkey. Applicant?
Hello, everybody. I'm Louis Termini. I'm from Brooklyn, New York originally, but I spent most of my life in Connecticut. So I don't want you to feel like I'm a New Yorker sneaking in on you. With a family business. We were in Avon, Simsbury, Glastonbury, Cromwell, Plainville, 2 sons, 2 daughters. I had 125 employees, but I'm retired now, and the children are running the business. But I'm the brains of the business without any brains. So we would like to switch over from retail restaurant to restaurant at Dunkin'. I'm open for questions. I could have brought a pizza from Westport, but we're closed on Monday, which will be closed on Monday here as well. Our hours will be 11:30 to 9, and I'm ready to go if you'll let us go.
How did, a lot of seats in that little space,
We have 3,000 square feet.
3,000 square feet?
Yeah.
And some of the seats are outdoors too, in the outdoor patio.
Just to confirm too, that you won't be using the drive-through for that purpose?
I'm sorry?
You're not going to be using the drive-through?
we won't be using the drive-through, cutting down on traffic. And I believe that the large parking lot that we have shared by Enterprise, which maybe 1 or 2 cars come in, and the sandwich shop, 2 or 3 cars come and go periodically. And all those parking spaces, we probably use our legitimate amount and no more.
Just a note, I'm Doug Corey, I'm the contractor. According to the parking regulations, we fall within the parameters for parking based on the seating requirements that are being asked for.
Yeah, just specifically, Wilcox, 30 Stony Brook. Specifically, there's 21 designated parking spots. We're assuming of 5 employees. That's 16 times 4 gives us 64.
I'm glad you can do the math.
Any questions at this time? The takeout will not be abandoned, it would just be, what did we say, Keith? Keith?
Yeah, the property owner submitted a letter saying that they don't intend to abandon the drive-through use permanently, and drive-throughs in this zone for food establishments are no longer allowed. But state law revolves around the owner's intentions with something like this. So a drive-through could come back in the future.
However, the future for us in a 25-year with options of, I will put in writing that we will not use the drive-through.
For 25 years. I don't
We're there 25 years. If we've been a success in Connecticut for 30 years. It was originally Luna Pizza in the other counties, and we're in Westport right now. And
you can use the old drive-through for more parking, correct?
No.
No.
The drive-through really, that alleyway really doesn't lend itself. You'd be blocking.
You don't want people pulling out there.
Egress from the existing lot.
Does the signage comply with our regulations, Keith?
Yeah, and it would just be replacing what Dunkin' Donuts had there.
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Does the rental car establishment park cars for rental in some of the spaces? They don't store?
we haven't seen any cars there for months and months and months. I've been visiting. I'm moving into Mystic this month, and since January, I've been passing by the location. I have not seen more than 1 or 2 cars at Enterprise.
And Enterprise does have designated spots as part of the total spot count. So they do have those.
Okay, so is that included in your calculation?
It is, yes. Okay. Of the total spots, we are designated 21 of those spots, and that's
That's fine. Thank you. That answers my question. Thank you.
Just in addition, the Enterprise operation operates primarily out of the Groton base down by the sub base. Down by General Dynamics. That's primarily where they do business. They operate this as a sub location, so it's not really, it's not constant flow of cars in and out.
Any other questions? No other questions this time? Anyone else like to speak in favor of this application? Anyone opposed to this application? Any general comments on this application?
Paul Sarter, 12 Jackson Avenue. A couple points. First of all, I'm sorry. You guys, clearly none of you live in town, in downtown Mystic. You guys just, on the last one, I know it's over, you arbitrarily just picked a number, and it was pretty disgusting to listen to, frankly, but that's past. Enterprise. I rent cars from Enterprise for years. We're in a bad rental time right now. Cars are short. I have gone in there over the last 5-6 years. There could be anywhere from 3 to 7 cars in there. My concern is not what is, just like any of these other uses, it's not what they're doing with it now, it's what they can do with it. Now, if the applicant says that they have allotted the number of parking spaces that required by zoning, I'm fine with it. But making up arbitrary thoughts and ideas because, again, you drive by or you think or someone says, oh, it's not you being used all that much, that doesn't make any sense at all. Again, if there's a use in that space and someone else comes in and they, by right, can use more spaces, and I don't want to hear, hopefully, that, well, they don't use that much, so the overflow is going to go towards, and we're going to pretend that we only have 2 employees or 4 employees, when we're really, with a 64-seat restaurant, we're really going to have 10 or 12. It just goes on, and it's never ending. And I know you guys only have so much regulatory. Actually, you got amazing amount with your zoning enforcement officer. But this fudging and this pretending and this don't worry about it, it's just agonizing to watch and see, and making things up as you go along. I would really just appreciate we for once just stick to the regulations and justify your motions. The last one, you come back to it, someone can come back to you and say, hey, you gave it to them, why can't you give it to us? Oh, just because. What's your basis? Well, we don't think that many people use that space. What happens if which will impact that whole neighborhood, if the Taste of India decides, somebody else buys that restaurant and decides to get active and is open from 10 in the morning until 1 a.m. because they can by law. And this restaurant can do that too. I really wish we wouldn't put so much weight on what, again, is happening and look at what can happen. Thank you.
I would like to say that I agree with my neighbor, and we'd like you to go by the rules, and we want the designated spots that we're allowed, and whatever Enterprise and Subway has, they're allowed. We're not asking to go beyond or around it, or maybe what they may not be there, may not be open. We're not asking for that. We are asking to keep the cars off the streets in Mystic, which is out of control. So if we have our spots taken by those cars, there's less bumper to bumper on this. And Mystic is, and the county, the area is right now #1 in the country. There's no stopping that. We're here to help get them off the streets, give them some good pizza.
Sorry, not to belabor the point. Will Cox, 30 Stony Brook. 42 Williams Ave has 42 total parking spaces. There's designated 21 of those spaces for the former Dunkin' Donuts, Unit A. We've taken 5 away. That gives us 64. There are 13 designated spots for the Enterprise Rent-A-Car, with the remainder of the 8 spots designated to Subway.
And you have 8 parking spaces overflow on Allen Street. Parking.
I know what it says. Have you been to Allen Street lately? Forget it.
Any other questions at this, anyone else like, any general comments? Keith?
Sure, so this application does meet the zoning requirements for parking. Unlike the last one, they're not asking for shared parking relief. They do have enough per zoning with the parking lot they have. Dunkin' Donuts, even though it was a food establishment, was considered retail per our regulations, so that's why they're before you as a restaurant, and also the liquor permit requires a special use permit. And I think we talked about most of the other issues here. Dunkin' Donuts was open, had greater hours than them. They were open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and they had the drive-through that was open till 11, even though the speaker had to end at 10. The WPCA moratorium, the WPCA director said that because of the moratorium, they will be limited to only 25 seats until the moratorium is over. And the reason why they're allowed more than the previous application is just because Dunkin' Donut, they're going by the flow of what Dunkin' Donuts used. So that equates to 25 seats. 25 seats until the moratorium is over. If this application is approved, the recommended stipulations here are approval subject to the WPCA's moratorium on increasing flows to the Mystic plant. Number 2, the town's maximum seating notice must be posted in a conspicuous location inside the restaurant. Approval is for a maximum of 64 seats with 52 indoors and 12 outdoors. And number 3, this approval is not considered a permanent abandonment of the drive-through use. And the votes here are the waivers requested in the special use permit application.
Do the alternates have any questions at this time? Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Do I hear a motion on this application?
Make a motion to approve the application with the 3 stipulations.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? No. Application approved. That's on the agenda for tonight. Before I leave, this is my last meeting, it's Gardner's last meeting.
I don't want to interfere, but I'm Peter Stewart, and I want to say thank you to each of you who serve on these commissions. It's a challenge, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm the McDuff. My partner, Roland Duffman, died a while ago. I've owned the property since 1978. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to welcome 2 new members of the commission. The next meeting will be Ryan and Chuck. And 2 permanent members. And if we're going to have election of officers, but I think it's going to be Ben, so maybe I'll give this to him now. So I hear a motion.
Well, we're gonna have that election now.
You can't. Okay, we can't. It has to be on the agenda, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it has to be, all the new members
All the new members have to
seated.
be sworn in.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna have it in September.
Yeah, that's it. What's Keith, first meeting in September canceled?
It could be. There's nothing really scheduled for that.
Cancel it. One of my last decisions.
All right, I guess we will.
Second meeting in September will be the organization meeting. That's right.
So we have time to come up with alternates.
So I would like
candidates for the-
to say it's been an honor to work with you.
There are applications in for some new alternates.
Are there? Good.
Dave, thank you for everything you've done as chairman. Both of you have shown, I think, incredible leadership here, and I thank you for it.
And thank you as well.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Thank you very much. It's just a lot of volunteer time and effort that you guys have put into this.
Always, David.
That's as much as you're gonna miss her.
I'm gonna help you with your math, don't worry, your extra time.
I'm just trying to do quick math.
Yeah, it
No
doesn't.
math.
Yeah. A number is a number. Okay.
So we're done.
Are we adjourned? Okay.
Can we insist on complete applications?
Have you,
Yeah, we have motion to adjourn.
The meeting would go on forever.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.